Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is just about completing the rejection from this important line of resistance in the short term, while the price of Bitcoin is remaining in this same sideways price range between support and resistance, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which is still rejecting from this important Fibonacci level, acting as resistance, while Chainlink is getting even closer towards potentially confirming this new bearish price pattern. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and I'll keep this quick because not a lot has happened over the last one day. So right now, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, indicating a larger correction or larger bearish market on the larger time frames. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have a massive bearish divergence to watch out for, which over the last one day has not really changed. So keep that in mind. But if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, more of the short to mid-term, talking about a matter of days or possibly weeks, we have a shorter term bullish divergence with the lower lows in the price confirmed in the candle closes, and of course higher lows confirmed in the 3-day Bitcoin RSI. But as we can see right here, the 3-day Bitcoin RSI is coming in for a slight retest of this ascending line in the RSI, and if the RSI actually breaks below that ascending line of support, and especially breaking below a previous low, in that situation that would be an invalidation signal to invalidate the bullish divergence, which would of course be a bit of a bearish signal if that starts to break down here in the RSI. But for now, that's not yet happened. It's just potentially getting close to testing that line, as we can see here in the 3-day Bitcoin RSI. And so once again, a bullish divergence does not mean we're going to have massive amounts of bullish momentum. It just means expect a bit of a break from all of the bearish price action in the form of maybe some sideways price action or maybe a slight bullish relief in the shorter term. But remember, the bigger picture not changed all that much over the last one day if we're talking about a period of, say, months. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, in the shorter term here, the short-term situation is still a sideways price range between this support and this resistance. First of all, this support is still sitting at around 85 to 86,000, and this resistance is still sitting at around 92 to 94,000. And so as the price has already been doing for around a month now, we're just simply bouncing around in this same sideways price range, consolidating relatively sideways between this support and this resistance, at least for now. That has not changed over the last one day. So taking a look at the shorter term here on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, and of course over the last few days we've continued a rejection from this ascending line of resistance, which was originally an ascending line of support, which obviously we broke to the downside and flipped it into resistance, and we're struggling to get back above that line, as we can see many times here. And right now that line is sitting at around 90.5k, and at the point of this rejection it was sitting at closer towards 90,000. But we could see here that the price is starting to level off a little bit after that initial rejection. And also keep in mind, remember, we're getting closer towards this massive support at around 85 to 86,000. So realistically, even if the price goes a little bit lower, we'll start running into massive support around here on the price chart. And honestly, over the next one day, over the next 24 hours, I do expect very low trading volumes in the market due to the fact, of course, it's Christmas. So a lot of people are not necessarily going to be looking at the charts, placing trades. And also the US stock market is closed on Christmas Day for a public holiday, so we'll likely see very low trading volumes over the next 24 hours, which basically means we'll likely see relatively boring price action just for the next one day or so, with not that many massive trades being taken. And so honestly, a very likely scenario just in the imminent short term here, talking about the next one day, is likely a slight little drift continuing towards the downside, considering we are obviously on that move towards the downside after the rejection. But just remember that we are approaching a major area of support at around 85 to 86,000. So if this little pullback continues a little further, obviously expect some support and maybe a slight little rebound or a slowdown from the bearish price action soon around that area. And so overall, those are my expectations in the immediate short term and the key levels to watch out for. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we have a small amount of liquidity building at just above 84,000, around 84.1k to 84.3k. But the main level of liquidity, at least in the shorter term, is still sitting in between around 90.8k to 91k. So just under 91,000. We still have a lot of liquidity building right there for the price of Bitcoin right around here. And so what is possible is the price may continue maybe a slight little pullback moving forward into this area of support here. And then of course, if we hold this as support yet another time like these previous times here, and maybe see another bounce within the next few days or over the next 1 week at some point, then it is likely we could at some stage come back up to take out this liquidity. Not necessarily right now, but maybe in a few days or a week from now, for example. And so overall, this is likely the calm before the storm for the price of Bitcoin, because usually when we see this sort of boring price action, likely remaining in this sideways price range for a little longer here in the shorter term, usually the longer we see the boring sideways price ranges, the larger the next move is eventually for the price of Bitcoin. So basically, calm before the storm. Yes, expect a little bit more boring price action in the immediate short term, but maybe in a few weeks from now, it's likely this could all build up towards another massive move. So if you haven't done so already, this is the time to get set up ready to go on a crypto exchange to take advantage of the next trading opportunity, which I will share here on the channel as soon as I take my next trade. And if you use the first link below this video in the description and in the pinned comment, that first link below the video will take you to this page right here over on the Pinex crypto exchange, where you can take advantage of massive bonuses that are only available using that link. So for example, if you make your account using that link, you can get a 50 USDT bonus on your account just by making an account using that link and completing KYC. And on top of that, there's deposit bonuses. If you deposit as little as 100 USDT, you get a 100 USDT bonus on your account. If you deposit 10,000, you get a 1,000 USDT bonus onto your Pinex account. So basically a bunch of free money from the exchange, which you can claim using that link below the video just by depositing, completing KYC, etc. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well take advantage of this. Once again, first link below this video. But if you want a no KYC crypto exchange to also trade Bitcoin and other cryptos on, that's completely no KYC. If you want to, then for that, check out the second link below this video in the description and in the pinned comment, because the second link below the video will take you to this page right here, where you can also claim exclusive bonuses that are only available using that link. And on top of those exclusive bonuses, there's also this trade protection and trader recovery fund. And so as you can see here, during this event that's running right now, if you're making your account using the link below the video, you get loss protection for your first 7 days of futures trading, up to 200 USDT in trial funds. And on top of that, if you get liquidated on your account over on 2bit over 50 USDT during this event that's running right now, then you also may be eligible for recovery compensation up to 1,000 USDT depending on your liquidation. And so once again, if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well take advantage of all of this right here and extra bonuses using that second link below the video to 2bit. And remember, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, and right now the Bitcoin dominance is continuing the slight bullish trend in the shorter term. So over the last 1 day, that's not really changed at all. Now obviously we don't have a significant amount of bullish momentum, but we are drifting slightly in the bullish direction, which means Bitcoin will likely be outperforming, at least slightly outperforming, a lot of the major altcoins out there on average. But still, a lot of altcoins will likely perform very similar to whatever Bitcoin is doing. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, right now the price of ETH is still rejecting from this level of resistance, sitting at around $3,040. So really in between around 3,000 to 3.1k, we still have a lot of resistance around there on the price chart, which means expect the price to struggle or possibly reject from around that area, which is what we pretty much just did. And we also have to be aware of a possible head and shoulders pattern that is currently forming right now, but not yet fully confirmed here on the daily Ethereum price chart. In order for this to actually confirm, we need to first see a little bit more of a pullback back down towards below 2.8k, and then we need to break below these lows right here, below the neckline for the head and shoulders pattern, in order to activate a bearish price target for this potential head and shoulders pattern that's currently forming right now, but not yet confirmed. And so just keep that in mind over the next few days as we continue a slight little pullback. Obviously, that is a risk that we need to be aware of. And as for support, I would expect a lot of support around these lows at around 2750 to 2.8k approximately, and also more support closer towards 2.6k, just above 2.6k, and obviously once again resistance at 3,000 to 3.1k. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term, looking at the 3-hour Ethereum price chart, we can see that obviously over the last couple of days we've continued the cool off from close to overbought. We almost got to overbought in the 3-hour Ethereum RSI, which basically if we see an overbought signal, that means the price went a little bit too far to the upside too quickly, and we need some time to cool off over the next few days, which usually plays out in the form of just a slight pullback in the shorter term. So right now that is simply happening. Once again, we didn't really hit overbought, but we did get quite close to overbought, so it's kind of just cooling off either way. And of course, another reason as to why we're seeing this slight pullback is due to the fact that we did reject from this resistance, as I said earlier, and also due to the fact that, as always, Ethereum and a lot of these major altcoins are following very similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. So while Bitcoin is rejecting and seeing this slight little cool off in the short term, we're seeing something similar for a lot of the altcoin market. And as I said earlier, for Bitcoin in the immediate short term, I do expect relatively boring price action just for the next one day. Very low trade volumes is very likely over the next 24 hours. So we could likely continue just a slight little drift towards the downside, considering we do have a bit of weakness in the short term in the market. But overall, I don't necessarily expect a massive move or any massive volume or momentum just in the next one day. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, obviously right now Solana is basically following the rest of the market as usual, with this slight little pullback showing a little bit of weakness in the shorter term. But overall, we've not yet technically invalidated this bullish divergence on the daily Solana price chart, because at least for now we still have those lower lows confirmed in place in the price in the candle closes, and of course the higher lows confirmed in place in the daily Solana RSI. So over the last one day, this has not really changed all that much, which means we could continue to play out either some choppy sideways price action or a little bit more of a bullish relief within the next few days or within the next 1 or 2 weeks, that sort of time frame. Remember, this does not tell us what to expect in the next 1 hour or anything like that, but maybe could result in more of a sideways consolidation within the next week or so. But obviously that's still a somewhat shorter term signal, a short to mid-term signal. If we're talking about the bigger picture, the larger trends that we're currently in, at least here on the daily Solana price chart, obviously this is still a multi-month bearish trend. We've been in the same bearish trend since basically around September, October, obviously still forming lower highs and lower lows. So at least for now, the larger trend has not changed, despite this shorter term bullish divergence can result obviously in a slight little relief, either a sideways consolidation or short-term bullish relief. But remember, we can see those sort of things in the shorter term during the much larger bearish trend. And in fact, right now, as of recording this video, the price of Solana is starting to break back below that $124 support level, which is obviously not too good to see, especially if we confirm this daily candle close back below 124, then obviously that will start to confirm the break back to the downside, in which case the next support is sitting at roughly around 117 approximately, based on this previous local low. And if we break below this low, especially breaking below around 115, in that situation, of course, that would invalidate this bullish divergence and would likely see a drop down towards these previous lows that we saw back in early April, sitting at just above $100, really around $100 to $105 would be the next target if we first break below this low at around 117 and actually invalidate this bullish divergence. But right now, once again, that has not yet confirmed. So over the next one day, I do expect relatively boring price action, at least just in the imminent short term. And as for resistance, of course, previous support will likely flip into new resistance. So around 124 to 127, give or take, I would expect some resistance around there. And of course, a lot of resistance in between 143 to 147. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, keep in mind, whatever happens on the smaller time frames in the shorter term, the bigger picture for XRP is still not looking too good at all. We still have a massive bearish divergence playing out that I did actually warn about many months ago, all the way back up here around end of July, early August. All of my videos are still public on the channel that I posted all the way back then, warning about this multi-month pullback coming next. So right now I'm saying the same thing. We are not in the clear yet. This is still playing out on the larger time frame, so keep that in mind. Of course, we can see short-term bounces, short-term bullish reliefs here and there along the way towards the downside, but overall, bigger picture, still not looking too good. And as for support, we still have this major support here at around $1.80, but if we break below $1.80, in that situation, I would expect to move at least down towards $1.60, likely down towards $1.30 to $1.40 if we first, of course, confirm the break below $1.80. And if we're zooming into the daily XRP price chart, we technically still have that shorter term bullish divergence, the smaller bullish divergence still active on the daily XRP price chart. Obviously, we still have those lower lows confirmed in place in the price in the candle closes, and of course higher lows or very slight higher lows confirmed here in the daily XRP RSI, almost horizontal lows in the RSI, but that's still a form of a bullish divergence, which means just in the shorter term for a period of days, possibly weeks, expect either a slight bullish relief or maybe some choppy sideways price action, which over the last half a week to almost 1 week now, we have been seeing a bit of choppy sideways price action, not all that much, just taking a slight little break from the much larger bearish trend just in the short term here. But remember, we can see shorter term bullish divergences, bullish reliefs, and shorter term sideways consolidations during the much larger or longer term bearish trend. So overall, nothing really has changed over the last 1 day. Still, we have that short term bullish divergence, but the longer term bearish divergence is also still active on the larger timeframes. And as for support to watch out for, once again, still expect a lot of support around $1.80. And as for resistance, expect resistance around $1.95, which is pretty much exactly where the price rejected from at $1.95. And above that, I'd also expect major resistance around $2 to $2.05. So we still have a lot of resistance just above the price, and also a decent amount of support at around $1.80. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, right now Chainlink is getting very close to testing these previous lows. We're pretty much just now starting to test this important area of support, really sitting in between around $11.90 to $12.10. So at roughly around $12, give or take, we still have a lot of support around there to watch out for. And if the price actually starts breaking below these previous lows, of course, in that situation, that would start to invalidate that shorter term bullish divergence, which has played out over the last almost 1 week, mostly in the form of some choppy sideways price action with an initial slight little bullish relief. So technically, as of recording this video, it is still currently active. It's not yet confirmed an invalidation signal, but obviously, if we start breaking below the previous low here in the price or in the RSI, then that will start to invalidate the bullish divergence, as I just said. And if the price actually confirms a break below around these lows just here, confirming a break below around $11.90, in that situation, the next immediate target or point of support to watch out for would be sitting at close to $11, really at around $10.90 to $11.10 approximately. So roughly around $11 would be the next target if we break below around $12. And as for resistance, we still have a lot of resistance at around $13.30 to $13.50 approximately. And even before that massive area of resistance, we have a little bit of short-term resistance based on previous support flipping into resistance at around $12.80, which we've also just struggled at recently over the last few days. And if we're taking a look at this daily Chainlink price chart, we're also getting extremely close to confirming this new bearish pattern on the daily time frame, which is of course a head and shoulders pattern. And like I already explained in more detail in my last video, obviously this is not a perfect textbook head and shoulders pattern. The shoulders, for example, are 2 different sizes, but with that being said, it's roughly a head and shoulders pattern to the point where it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once again, I'll talk more in detail about that in my last video, but if you want to know the technical price target, if this confirms, once again, I want to make this clear, as of recording this video, it's not yet confirmed. We need to confirm a candle close below around $11.80, $11.90, below this neckline. But if that happens, if we confirm the breakdown here, in that situation, that would activate a bearish price target at roughly around $9.70. So from the point of the breakdown to that price target, we're talking about potentially roughly around an 18% move towards the downside, and that's with no leverage. So just for an example, not financial advice, a 10x leverage short position in that example would be a 180% profit. And so obviously that is a potential trading strategy waiting to happen, a trading opportunity waiting to happen. Once again, not yet confirmed, but potentially could confirm very soon. So once again, this is the time to be prepared, set up, ready to go, using one of the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can take any of these trades in the price of any crypto, no matter what direction the price is going, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.